Hi guys, it's Cindy here from Hooked on Crafts, and today we're doing a call out for all the crocheters out there to stop what you're making and create a few projects to help the animals over in Australia that have been hurt or injured by fire. This is a great stash buster and they are in dire need of these items. Today I'm going to show you how to make a crocheted bird's nest. Today's project, we are going to need 2 balls of yarn. We're going to hold 2 strands together for this project, a size H or 5mm crochet hook, a darning needle, and a stitch marker. To begin this project, we are going to do 6 single crochets into a magic ring. If you do not know how to make a magic ring or crochet a magic ring, I will leave a link in the description box below. I have a video that shows you exactly how to do that. So you're going to do 6 single crochets into the magic ring while holding 2 strands together throughout this project. Now you want your stitches to be very tight for this project. That's why it's important that you make the magic ring, because you don't want the little birds to get their foot stuck in the hole in the center. And when you use a magic ring, it lets you draw it up really tight, and you're going to see me do it here, really tight, so that there is no hole for them to get their feet stuck in. So very important for this project, because we do not want to cause harm to the animals that are already hurt. So for the next round, we're going to do 2 single crochets into each stitch, so a total of 12 stitches here. And I'm not using my stitch marker here, I am just counting as I go. We'll use our stitch marker a little bit later, and you'll see me, I fiddle with the tails to draw my hole in quite a bit in the first couple rounds, just to make sure that I keep it nice and tight, and then I'll go ahead and stop and weave in my ends so I don't have to mess with it later. So I am just doing 2 single crochets into each stitch, so a total of 12 stitches for this round. As you can see here, guys, I kind of struggled to get my hook into these stitches, but honestly that's exactly the way you want your stitches to be, nice and tight, so that you have a very sturdy bird's nest when you're done. That's why we're using 2 strands of yarn and a small hook, so that we have a very dense fabric that's going to be sturdy for the little birds to sit and move around in, so that they don't fall out when they do so. So here we are finishing round 1. We're going to pull our tails tight again, and we're going to begin round 2. For round number 2, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the first stitch and 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And here I'm going to take a minute and put my stitch marker in so that I know where my row begins and ends, so I don't get that confused. And then we're just going to continue along all the way around. It's going to be 1 single crochet into that stitch and 2 single crochets into the next stitch. This is a very beginner friendly project. I know that lots of you guys have got acrylic yarn sitting around. It's a great stash buster, and you're also helping the animals that are in need of these little nests. So we're just going to continue around doing the same pattern all the way to our stitch marker. It will be 1 single crochet into a stitch and then 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And I'm going to work this project in the round. I am not going to stop and slip stitch and create a new row. I just don't think it's necessary, and I think it goes much faster and it looks much neater on the finished project. So here you'll see I got all the way to round number 2. And then we're going to just stop, and I'm going to lay my work down, and I'm going to measure the diameter of my piece. I'm wanting the bottom of my bird's nest to be about 3 to 3.5 inches wide. That's one of the smaller bird's nests. At the end of this video, I will show you a chart that has the dimensions for all the bird's nests. For the next row, we're going to do 2 single crochets, and I'm going to put my stitch marker in there, and then 2 single crochets into the same stitch. And you're going to follow that pattern all the way through this round. So single crochet, 2 single crochets into the same stitch. And this is just another increase round. If you've crocheted all, you know what an increasing round is. If you've never crocheted before, it's a very common way when people make hats and stuff. This is how they get your hat to the right size that it needs to be. So I just stopped a moment to measure my work again. I'm not quite there yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do another row. So for this row, you're going to do single crochet, single crochet, single crochet. So that's 3 single crochets, and then 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And I almost forgot to put my stitch marker back in, and then I remembered I'm at 4 stitches into this row, so I just counted back and put my stitch marker in there. And I need 1 more single crochet into that last stitch. So for this row, in case you got confused with all that, is 3 single crochets into the next 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into that stitch. And you're going to continue that all the way around till you get to your stitch marker. And then we're going to start our next row. For this row, we're going to do 4 single crochets into each stitch. So I'm going to put my stitch marker back in there. So that was 2, 3, and 4, and then I'm going to do 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And again, this is just another increasing row. We're making the bed of our nest the right diameter that we need it to be. I'm sorry, I don't know why my video froze here a little bit, but we're just going to continue on around till you get to your stitch marker. 4 single crochets and then 2 crochets. Now here I'm at about 3.5 inches, and this is exactly where I would like to be. Okay guys, now that we have the right diameter for the base of our nest, we are going to now start to create the walls for the nest. For this round, we are going to crochet into the back loop only of every stitch. So this is your front loop, and this is your back loop. So you're going to stick your crochet hook in and only go through the back loop all the way around till you get back to the beginning of this round. And I'm going to put my stitch marker back in here to signal to myself that that's the beginning of the round. And make sure you're going through both strands of yarn because you want the walls to be nice and sturdy for your bird nest. So you're just going to crochet all the way around. Now, I have joined a Facebook group. It's called the Animal Rescue Craft Guild of America. And basically it is a call out to all crafters, sewers, crocheters, knitters, and there are pattern lists in the file section of this Facebook group that gives you the patterns that are acceptable for animal rescue. And it goes into what fibers you can use and everything. So I encourage each and every one of you, if you would like to join in this project, to join that Facebook group and check out the file section. There is also a section in there that gives different hubs in the United States where you can send your work to, and then they will ship it out to Australia. I find this very helpful. That way I don't have to pay the individual shipping to Australia. They can do that much easier if they ship them in bulk and get them to the right people. These people work with animal rescue all the time, so they know what organizations are in need better than I would. So I really, truly appreciate that. You can see here that now my side is turning up, and that's exactly how we want it to be. I'm going to take my stitch marker out, and we are going to continue to work 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Like I said before, we are going to be working in the round, so we are just going to keep crocheting 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way around. And you'll see me here in a minute. I'm going to kind of turn my work right side out because I just think it's a little bit easier to work. When we're finished, we'll flip it back over so that the bird has the nice part on the inside. We want our sides to measure 4 inches in depth for the size diameter that we are using. So you'll see here, this is what it looks like on the inside and on the outside. And you're just going to keep crocheting until you get all the way to 4 inches tall for the sides. Again, this is a great stash buster. Most of us have acrylic yarn laying around if you do any sorts of projects at all. Maybe you have a color that you didn't really like or something. It's a great way to do some stash busting. You'll see I got my side to be 4 inches high, which is exactly where I want it. And I am going to go ahead and flip it to where the right side is on the inside, because I want the bird to have the nice side on the inside, and it's got a nice flat bottom so that the bird can sit in there. And then most caregivers, from what I understand, are going to turn these down. That's why they want the sides to be so high, and do them in half. And then that makes a very sturdy little bird nest. And I think it turned out perfect, guys. I hope you join me in helping to make some things for the animals over in Australia. There are several different things that crocheters can make. Bird nests are one of them. Some marsupial pouches are the other ones, the outer part for the marsupial pouches. So please, please, if you can, join in and help us create some things to help these animals. So as promised, here is a chart that lists the different sizes that they're needing. They go all the way from like a 2-inch diameter all the way up to a 7-inch diameter. And here is a list of the approved fabrics. Happy crocheting, guys.